People deluded, I'm back again.
Come on, Ian, man. Come on.
I'm well live again. Second live stream of the day. Third, if you include early hours of the morning. It's special circumstances, so I had to get someone whose opinion I rate. Matty, we say, my guy, good? I think you're on mute, my bro.
I'm on mute.
Minor.
There we go. We here, man. Hey, after last night, how can I not be good, brother? That was what you want to see. These last 2
like
weeks,
you said, man.
Man, it's been phenomenal, brother. How you doing today, man?
I'm good, man. A bit knackered, busy day, but you know what? It's always nice to win, man. Let's crack straight in. I want to ask you a question, yeah, because me and you, we've given Mikel Arteta his flowers where it's deserved, and we've also been critical. I think we're kind of aligned in that we have many criticisms about him, but if he's clearly a good manager, then you have to hold him to those high standards. And we know where the league's concerned and all the other cups, yeah. But do you think he's proven the haters wrong with what he's doing with us being in semi-finals now? Where are you at with that?
I think what he's done is, I think he's starting to somewhat learn to let the players dictate the game on the pitch. He did it. He did it both legs with Real Madrid. My biggest concern for him was, would he change anything? Would he decide he wants to go right back? What does he want to start tinkering? And probably for the first time in a while, he left everything the exact same way it was. If you looked at him yesterday, you didn't really see him remonstrating on the, doing all this. It was kind of, he let the, players do their thing.
Being a bit like Ancelotti.
Yeah. And so, I was looking at certain situations. How would he panic if, and he didn't panic. He just let it play out. And I think, as a former coach, and I'm hoping this is with him, because this normally happens with most coaches. You have an aha moment. And I'm hoping that he's had this aha moment. I'm hoping that, this is giving him his aha moment, realizing that, hey, bro, you don't have to micromanage. You've got capable players out there that can get the job done. There's certain individuals, and I'm sure we'll get to everybody in the game, but there's certain individuals out there that can take care of what you think you see over there. They see something different on the pitch, and
they can manage themselves.
Yeah. And that's what happened with that game last night, is that they were able to manage the game. The players were able to manage the game for themselves. They didn't let the occasion get too big for them. And I was sitting up thinking about it before I got on with you this morning. Is if I had to use a word, they looked comfortable last night. And that's what you want to see as a fan, as a supporter,
especially at the Bernabeu.
Yeah, the burn. So I like that. Stuart, the club photographer, I was going through his photos this morning. And there was a photo of Skelly that's on his IG feed, and Skelly's sitting there with a Walkman chilling. I mean, that's I've been in the situations where you got massive games, and it's the coach, you're a wreck because you think, if I missed anything, did I prepare for this scenario? Did we go over this in practice? Did we go over this free kick scenario? Did we go over this? Did we go over that? Did I cover if this happened, if that happened, if we go down, man, we go down two, and in the players' mind, they're just sitting there chilling, like, hey, coach, we got this, we all right, we good. And when you see that, last night I looked at that, I looked at Saka's demeanor. Saka didn't even look like, I'm gonna tell you what, man. I was trying to explain this to Lee last night. Saka looked like somebody who's grown up.
Yeah,
I'm talking
the
about.
Same way.
You know what I'm saying? It's like when we watched.
He's here now. I'm that guy now.
Yeah, but when we looked at, you remember when Seth showed up, and then when Seth took the reins, you remember that back in 08, 09. There's a growth in a player that you're able to visually see that he's becoming a man. And when I watched him last night, just walking onto the pitch, I said, he doesn't look nervous, doesn't look scared, doesn't look shook, And then the finish,
after missing a penalty as well.
Yeah, well, what he did, I'm gonna tell you what he did wrong because I went back and watched that penalty last night. What he did was he when he took the penalty, he planted his foot so immediately Courtois knew where he was going. And I think by the time when he realized it was like, oh crap, I done committed to this. And if he would have went to the right, he would have got him. But instead, he went the way that he was diving, and then that's how he ended up saving it. So I think he kind of led him that way. But outside of that, man, I mean, that finish last night was top draw. And it was the one that you've been waiting to see. The pass to him.
Doesn't get any bigger than that, man. Good general play from everyone and a dinking finish. Don't get any better than that.
The pass from Marino. I told the guys last night. He's been misdiagnosed. And you know this from playing. There are some players a coach might see, oh yeah, he looks like he's a defensive midfielder, so we'll put him at defensive midfield. Player probably just wants to play, so he'll just do it just to
whatever the coach wants.
Yeah. But in reality, on the playground with the guys, he's a striker. So you look at Marino the last couple of weeks. I'm seeing through balls, I'm seeing flicks, I'm seeing volleys. This brother's been mixed diagnosed.
He's been doing everything, man.
No more defensive midfield as long as he's at this football club. If he needs to be, as Lee would say, our Hazalu coming off the bench or whatever, to go for a goal, that's what he needs to do. I don't want to see him play defensive mid no more at this football club because he's proven to me that he's good going forward. This ain't just some running the mill thing. Now he's got almost 8-9 goals. He's got a plethora of assists. He's giving assists in big games. He's giving us assists in high pressure situations. There's a couple of players in this team who I'll talk about later on that need to look at him and learn how to give assist in high pressure.
Name them, man. Name them. I'm keen to know.
I'm gonna keep it positive for right now. I want to keep it positive. We'll get to it. We're gonna get to it. But that last night from him and Saka and Declan Rice, man.
What a player Declan Rice is. World class.
Let me tell you,
complete midfielder.
You know what? Me and you we had a discussion a while back. And we both were kind of, trying to figure out what's the price point on Declan Rice. I'm going to tell you it's a sliding scale across the board. But I'm going to tell you the one thing that you get when you got Declan Rice. Because I'm going to tell you, nobody brought this up. I watched a lot of fan cams. I watched a lot. Nobody brought this up, but you're going to get this here with DG and Southern Gooner right here, right now. You're going to get this.
Come on.
Right here. What you got last night with Declan Rice was a player who knows what it's like to be in a European Cup competition in the final stages, in a knockout round, and how to
in the trenches
and how to conduct yourself. Because he was snatching people up, he was telling people where to go, he was all over the place.
He was keeping this.
Declan Rice there, Declan Rice over there, Declan Rice over here, Declan Rice over there, running back, bombing, going forward, passing the ball, setting up attacks, moving people forward. He was doing every single thing that you want to see a captain do. Every single thing. It looked like somebody transported him from 96 and dropped him into the game last night. Like he came out of 96 and was just he was playing in 96 and they took him and said, hey, we're gonna drop you in 2025. And then that's what they did. Right there. Yeah. I mean, and he was all over the place. All over the place. And I'm like, bro, this is what I want to see. But he was doing it this past weekend. And
the game at the Emirates, yeah.
No coincidence. He came off the pitch Saturday and the game went upside down. See, this is what I'm saying. Now he's affecting games. This is what you want to see. This is what you want to see. Skelly.
Miles Lewis Skelly, what a player.
It's one player. Thank you. He's one player, and as a coach, I've seen this. I had a young man named Steven that was on my team, and people just say, "Why you don't never say anything to Steven?" I said, "Well, for what? He knows what he's doing." I just want to play where you really don't have to say much. He coaches himself. He coaches.
He just gets it.
The only one knock I said was, just recovery, but that'll come with experience, bro. No problem at all with Skelly. I mean, this season, he's been a revelation. He's been a revelation.
He's been a player for us 8-9 months, and the things he's done is ridiculous,
bro. And I watched him last night, and like I said, he was sitting out on the steps chilling, listening to a Walkman. Goes out on the pitch, plays the game, shutting down world-class players. Shutting down world-class players.
You wouldn't know he's 18 fresh out of the academy if you never saw him before.
In the Bernabeu, in the Bernabeu. White shirts galore. You know, didn't let the occasion get to him. He has been outstanding this year. And he should, for me, he should definitely be up there in the Premier League Young Player of the Year. He should be right up there
winning it
this year. He should be winning it. Yeah. On the string, he should be winning it. You look at
we
that.
know why he's not going to win that for a bunch of reasons, actually.
Well, yeah, we could get it. We could really have a discussion about that.
There's serious taxes applied with Miles Lewis Skelly and that, man. The streets know he's Young Player of the Year, but PFA, Premier League, whoever decides it, he ain't gonna get it, man. They've made their mind up on him. They're gonna try and do him like they did Marcus Rashford and Raheem Sterling. But I always say God protects everybody who genuinely believes, and it's like the more they hate on Miles Lewis Skelly, the more they hate on Bukayo Saka. Yeah. You see them shine, man. Like I looked at Saka's reaction to that penalty miss, and for a second he's like, "Oh shit, what's going on?" Then he starts smiling, and I'm like, "Okay, we're here now." Now I'm not gonna say I predicted he would score, but yeah.
Because what I told you, I said he knew what he did wrong. He gave away where it was going, and then by the time he committed to it, and so he was like, "Oh, well, I got to do it now because I've already done it, But it was so early on that I knew they could make adjustments. That when the penalty kick got reversed, I said, "Okay, this is a good omen for us. This is a very good omen." And they didn't get rattled after that. They never got really rattled after things kind of started.
The two legs, we've had great temperament, man.
Yeah, and then you get to Martinelli. Pro, that ain't moonshine. Nah, that ain't moonshine.
Probably too early in America for that.
Way too early for that. But you get to Martinelli, and I brought this up with the guys last night on the Bertha stream. If there's certain players in this team when Bertha showed up, that their game went up because they're playing for their career. And ever since he showed up, I guess he's realized I got to get this together. That run that he had to seal it off last night, that was 20.
The run off the ball, let alone the finish, amazing. Big up Marino, as you said, he got the assist.
Yeah, we talking 19, 20, 21. Martinelli. We talking Martinelli just pulling, fresh from league, 4th division Brazil. That run last night was reminiscent of old Martinelli.
Facts.
I mean, that was the Martinelli
transitional demon.
That's what we've been asking for. And then we'll go to the negative. Because there was a negative last night. There was a negative.
Let us know, man.
Martin Odegaard. This team has been playing with 10 men the last couple of weeks. Martin Odegaard.
He's in a rotten bit of form.
He is in some of the worst form I think I have seen in a long, long time. I'll tell you what I think it is. This is going to be harsh, but I'm
let us know, man.
I am. I think we have outgrown Martin Odegaard. I think this team, it is time. There was a I don't know if you can remember, there was a pattern of play there last night where Raya gets ball. Raya distributes ball. Distributes to midfielder. What do you do as the midfielder? You turn around and what? Distribute the ball to the channels. What does he do? Turn around, slow the whole play down. They get numbers back. We got to rebuild up we got to build up some more tempo to go forward again. And he does it consistently over and over and over. He's running. He's shot out. He's running and he's running into to walls. He's running into coverage. He's going here, go over there, get between 5 players, ask for the ball. He's not making the run. He's standing back watching. He's looking. He's just, watching the ball. What's the worst thing you could do as a midfielder is ball watch. You're ball watching.
You're not involved.
Not involved. Nowhere near involved. So then Declan Rice has got to do double work. This is why you saw him all over the place last night. He over the place. Him and Thomas Partey.
I'm Marino and Lewis Skelly.
That's why Marino. There was a couple of times Marino was out of position. He had to go cover for the hole that Odegaard left. So he's going back. So this is what I'm saying. He's becoming an issue in these games like this, like last night, where if luckily everybody else is locked and loaded, and then we get to the penalty kick last night, he's right there.
Yeah, I thought he was going to take it. I don't know if that's a bit of mind games and whatnot, but I thought he was going to have it.
Yeah, in my head, I'm like, oh, he wants to shut the door himself. Now here you go. Here you go.
Here you go, Sat.
We get there was I don't know if you caught this. I don't know if you caught this last night, but there was an incident when we had a free kick situation. This fool tells him what we get ready to do. He's getting. He said, "Yeah, I'm gonna whip it in. I'm gonna whip." He's doing this, and I'm like, "Man, come on, bro. You don't just bro. You know, as a player, you do certain stuff. You know what I'm talking about, certain gyrations. But when you do this, they know exactly what you're. They
know exactly what you're trying to do. Yeah,
he's getting ready to whip it in, and then I'm telling you, yeah. You know what? I see Barry sitting there saying, "Oh well, you know, he you know what you're talking about." That was that one incident right there. But you go back and watch the whole entire body of work for the last 3 or 4 games. It's easy to go point to a situation that works out. But when we're talking about a body of work, you know, a broken clock is right twice a day. So, I mean, bro, I mean, you know, so but when you look at the whole entire body of work, I seen the toppest of top gooners yesterday saying the exact same thing that I was saying about Odegaard. So I know I'm not going crazy. I know I'm not.
He had a better second half, and he obviously, like my man said, he was involved in the game, but it's still on brand with what we've seen from Martin Odegaard recently. And that whatever Arteta tells you tactically, you do it, but you're kind of playing within yourself. And like, obviously, it's a great team performance in that, but it's like the game at the Emirates where if you were to micromanage it, you know, Martinelli's going to get his flowers, Partey's got his flowers, Rice got his flowers, Kivio's got his flowers, Lewis Skelly's got his flowers. You don't really have that with Martinelli. I mean, with Martin Odegaard, and he needs that the most, and I was kind of hoping Bernabeu, your old team.
Yeah, that's what I was hoping.
Know.
You know, I actually thought, DG, I said, well, maybe he's going to unleash himself back at home and show why they made a mistake.
Because he just needs one good game and he'll get back to it. I genuinely believe that, but it's not happening anytime soon, man.
Yeah, and so, you know, it's about to talk about the child, about the kid.
The kid does it. Yeah, you got to remember, he's got a kid, man. It's difficult. He's a dad now.
Oh man, I've seen how many players we seen have kids and they go right out there and they playing for the kids, you know. But you know, I just think that the manager's gonna have to look at this captaincy because realistically we know he ain't leaving. So he's gonna have to really look at this captaincy next year. He's gonna take the captaincy off of him and see what happens next year. Does that motivate?
What if he gets worse though?
That's what I was going to say. Now, if it gets worse, we've got a problem. Now we've got a problem.
200 grand a week problem.
Yeah, we got a major problem if he continues to regress, you know. So I just for last night to watch, you know, situations where we're in attack, he slows the attack down.
He even had a couple of half chances. Did you see when he done that little scoop thing he does? Yeah, and on form Odegaard probably has an assist, but it went off the pitch. And do you know what? The one I'm being a bit silly, but the one thing I'll praise him, I've criticized him shooting. The one time he shoots is with his right foot, and there's actually a bit of power. He's in a terrible bit of form, man. Yeah. Do you think Arteta's outgrown him though, or will outgrow him? Versus what we said about maybe the teams outgrowing them.
You said, do I think Arteta's outgrown
Martin?
To a degree, yeah. I think there comes a point where there's certain players. It's you know what? Thanks for your service. Thanks for what you've done. We appreciate what you've done. You've been a good servant. We got to go find better. Like
with Ramsdale and Tierney, to be fair.
Yeah. But we see when you think about it, DG, we hadn't really done that with players in the field since he's been here. We really hadn't done that. Some of these, you know, like I said, some of these players need to be moved on. There's a couple of players that need to be moved on. We can do better. Now you add in a world-class midfielder or just even a top-tier midfielder into that last night, and we having 3s, 4s, 5s, and 6s.
It's almost like we need 2 midfielders, man. You need an Odegaard alternative and you need a Partey replacement, but we'll get on to Partey.
Look at Zinchenko going forward this weekend. Look at the difference.
He had a very good game in the game against Brentford, if I'm honest.
Yeah, you see that? He gets the ball. And all of us have been saying it for the last 2-3 years. Hey, man, let's move Zinchenko to midfield. Because he moves the ball, gets the ball, distributes over the top, right? And he can place the ball.
And psychologically, he's got a reason because like I might not play again. I'm on the bench. I'm playing for my future. Like what you said with Berta. Psychologically, he could be on it. So you're right, man.
Yeah, he's motivated, and that's what
you exactly
see. You know, so a player that has a little heat up under him. personally, I tell you what I think is going to happen next game is I think Rice is going to probably have to end up sliding back because of Party being a fool yesterday with Rudiger.
Yeah.
And, head loss. And then I think we might probably get Zinchenko in the game next week. So hopefully that happens. Hopefully that happens because let me tell you something. One stat. I got a stat here that let me see if I can find it. I'm looking at it right here. When I tell you this is going to blow your mind. PSG this season has 629 ball recoveries. So they will hunt the ball down.
Oh, yeah, it's one of them games. Yeah.
They will hunt the ball down. And once they hunt this is what they did to Aston Villa, regardless of the fact that Aston Villa put some goals in the back of the net. A couple of them was outrageous. But and
that Bacola threat guy just cooking cash.
If you look at PSG, they have a tendency to they'll get the ball back and it's 1, 2, 3. They're right down the pitch. Odegaard's gonna have to know, make these passes that it looks like he can't make. He's gonna have to make those passes instead of turning around, slowing down, and then balls off of him, counter attack going the other way. Hakimi, Doué, and
Kvaratskhelia,
that brother there is going to be a problem.
He should be at Arsenal, but that's another story, man. He's not going to be
massive problem. He is a massive problem. And then you got Dembele, who seems to be his footballing is great, but his finishing is left to be desired. But he still, once he gets moving, everybody else can catch up with him, and now you got a counter attack. So we're going to
fullbacks as well. So we're going to need our wingers to go back the other way as well.
The game against PSG, I think, is going to be very, very, very balanced. I think it's when you look at them head to head, it's an even matchup. I think this is probably one of the most even matchups we've had so far in the tournament. And I know a lot of people will say, well, we beat them the first go around. That was match day 2.
Yeah, this is different now.
Yeah, this
context is different. Form is different.
6 months ago. They're on form, we're in form. This is going to be
psychologically it's different as well because it means something now. And I said it on my stream. I was like, well, to be fair, when we were drawn with Real Madrid, I said I wanted Atletico. We beat Real Madrid, so I'm gonna listen to the people in the comments. But I wanted Aston Villa. Now I know why people wouldn't want Aston Villa, Emre, the way they set up, all of that kind of stuff. But I just look at PSG and I think they're similar to us in that psychologically, yourself, once you get to this point, it's all about tactics and all of that stuff, of course, but it's a psychological thing. A lot of their players ain't won it. They ain't won the champs as a group. You look at Luis Enrique, you read his documentaries, he's a bit like Arteta in that he micromanages and he's finally got his players. There's less egos, there's a greater collective ethos, and it's a bit irrelevant, and God bless her soul, but I watched this documentary about when his daughter died and how, the players at PSG are behind him for all of that kind of stuff. It is going to be difficult, and I just don't know if we can get through. But at the same time, we're in the semi-finals. How do you see that matchup going then as well? Especially because at least for one of the legs, there's no Thomas Partey because he obviously got suspended. Do we put Zinchenko in midfield? Do we put Luis Skelly and put Calafiori? Do you play Jorginho? Where's your thinking at with that, man? It's a big game.
I don't want Calafiori anywhere near this team. Right in the form we're in right now, he needs to just sit over there. I would go with Zinchenko. And then I would move Rice over there, and then
Rice has to go 6 now, man.
Yep. And I'd go with that because that's the most safest bet he can. And Zinchenko probably can hang with their midfield a little bit, and I'm comfortable. The main thing here, DG, is we've got to just get something out of the home fixture. We need something out of the home fixture.
Harris is a bit scary.
Yeah. Because see, when you go there. And if it's 1-0, 2-0, we really need to just replicate what we did against Madrid some way. We need to find a way to get 3 goals. You get 3 goals, it's over. Just find 3. We know what the magic number is: 3 goals, and we'll pretty much get a goal. With soccer in the team, there's a goal. There's a goal there somewhere.
There's inevitability there.
Him, Marino, somebody get at least 1 goal, but we need 2 or 3 goals at home. We have to really got to take it to them at home. How am I feeling this morning about the tie? I think we'll get through personally. I personally think we'll get through.
I hope so, because that's a final there.
But I think that last night is a huge stepping stone. And it's like, okay, all right, psychologically, they got to be thinking, yeah, you know what? Yeah, we can do this, man. We can
3 games, and you're champion.
Because see, if we end up playing Inter, we've played them once, so then we can kind of go have a little bit of reference, and that was more recent than PSG. So you got a little bit of okay. Let's see how can we change things up. We play Barca, that's gonna be in the end. We're in the end
high
game. So,
intensity.
yeah. For game,
I reckon we can beat Barca though.
Yeah, I'm saying if it's in the end,
Defensively,
if we play a team that's directly end to end, then yeah, we'll bang on in there. I know they got some ballers over there, but when you talk about going end to end, that plays right into some of our players' hands. So I feel pretty Martinelli. I'm saying, you know, they're gonna be gaps. You know, in Barcelona, they can go forward, but they give them some goals as well. But I think the first leg against PSG is gonna be critical,
which is the first game straight after Crystal Palace.
Yep. So
29th of April. So that is what's that next week? Well, now give or take a week, just over a week, 2 weeks on Tuesday.
Yep. And so, you know, everything's even. I'm looking at the attacking. They've got 30 goals. We've got 30 goals. You know, goals inside area 23-26. Goals outside area 6-3. You know, attempts on target. They don't have it. They don't have as many attempts on target, but when they do shoot, they tend to put it in the back of the net. More clinical. Yeah. And so, you know, blocks off the line. I mean, blocks 38-37. Hit the woodwork. It's all of this is just it points to an even game. Defensively, it's even game. I mean, so it's going to be. I think this is going to be I think it's going to be a good time. I think it's going to be fun, and I think it's going to be one of these situations where it's going to be, as we always like to say, me and you, fine margins. It's just
It's nice to be on the right side of fine margins for once. It's nice to laugh about a Saliba mistake, Saka miss. Arguably should have scored more at the Emirates and a bit of nerves early on, but we controlled the controllables, man. So you're right. It's a game of fine margins. Then obviously before a ball's been kicked in the semi-finals, I think everybody could claim to be favorites. Like obviously we've dumped out the holders. I don't want to get too excited, but that is a statement. Me and you have just been bigging up PSG. Inter, I think defensively they're very good and they play two strikers, which is a bit unique in the modern day. Yeah. And you've spoken about Barca. Where do you rank our chances then, like, of bringing it home?
If I had to put a percentage on it right now, just right now, and I'm looking at it because there's 3 games left, you know, the semifinals and of course the final, I would probably say if I was feeling it, I'd say about a 60% chance, 65%. That's not to say that we can't do it. That's not to say we can't do it. It's just that we've got to get through the semifinal. Because once you get to that final, anything can happen. Anything can happen. You know, it's 50-50 across the board. But the hardest part, this is actually going to be the hardest game now. I mean, we've gotten past Madrid, but this is actually
the fairy tale's over now.
This is the real deal. Yeah, this is the real deal. This is where, and I, as a former coach, I've been to this plenty of time. That semifinal is actually harder. It is hard. It's the hardest game of the tournament because you have got to get over that line to get to the finish line. And then once you get to the finish, you know, it's go out and, you know, your body of work speaks for itself. But this semifinal, this is where hearts are broken, and it's not guaranteed. Now, and I have to preface this: it's not guaranteed we'll get here again. I'm being serious now. When was the last time? 2008, 2009
against Man United.
Man United. Yeah, we all know how that went.
Yeah,
we saw that, and we saw, you know, So I mean, it's
PTSD.
It's one of those things where, you know, enjoy the moment, but just realize that, you know, this ain't something that's given. You know, well, I hope this becomes a habit. I'll say that. I hope.
Amen.
I'm hoping this becomes a habit to where we always, you know, getting over the finish line. We getting there. You getting close. You know, or we win it this year. Ultimately, win it this year. It's what I would love. That would top off the season because I know we've had
definitely where it's been for us at the beginning.
Yeah, you know, I know we've had a sucky season in the league, but I would absolutely love to win this Champions League because it's something that we both have never seen. You know, we've been to the dance. We know what heartbreak is.
We're 13 minutes away from winning it in 2006. That wound is still fresh, bro.
Yeah, you know, I told the guys last night because old brother Catch was on with us last night, and we were talking about the game, and I told him, I said, you know, the reason why we're a little cautious going into the PSG game is not because we're being negative. It's just that we've beaten Real Madrid before. We've seen that. And we've gotten to the final and lost. So it's a step-by-step process that I feel like they're learning from in this competition. In the league, it's about consistency. And this is kind of, you can kind of slip in and you kind of, if you want, just look at the this past weekend's performance, then look at the, the game.
Higher Madrid, down Brentford, higher Madrid again. Long term, we need to be a team that's on it in both of those.
Yeah, exactly. I was just getting ready to say, ultimately, what we need to start doing is replicating what we saw last night in the league. Because if we'd have done that and just won 6, 7, 8 other games, we're talking about title race. We're talking about title race. We're talking about maybe possibly the end of the season. So there's a lot of positive to take away from this right here, and it's a lot to build from. Is Arteta, he could look and build from this and take, lessons from this Madrid and apply it to the Premier League, apply it to the Carabao Cup, because see, all this is learn. As I told you before, he's learning on the job. This is hopefully he's taking these notes, rewatching these games, and learning what he has. And so I think that going into the PSG game, I think if we can maintain health, because that's critical now. I brought that up last night. I said, there's a couple of things that we have to be cognizant of. Newcastle is 4 points behind us now in the league. You don't want to find yourself in a situation where third, fourth, fifth, sixth, fourth, fifth rather, and then when it's time for that seeding and what have you in the Premier in the Champions League, you go into the group of death. You having to deal with, a lot of, instead of 2 teams that rough, you got to deal with 3 of them. You don't want to have to deal with that. So he's got to figure out how we're going to navigate this. And see, this is where it gets tricky for Arteta. He's going to have to, like this weekend. He knew it because I saw it on his face. He realized he made a mistake when he took out all 3 at one time. You don't take out all 3 players at one time. You stagger it out every 12, 15 minutes.
Kill the tempo of the game.
Yeah, slow it down, and then you come off. 10 men with no red card in a league game is crazy. And he realized that. I looked at his face. I was like, yeah, you messed up, Arteta. You knew you messed up. You knew it. And it's like, I would, he wasn't thinking about it. But then last night, like I said, he stepped away. He looked at it for what it was and said, let the guys, the guys do their thing. And that's it. So all in all, man, I'm thrilled with what I saw last night. And I felt really good. It was the first time in a while I felt like really, really, it felt like old times. I text Dan Potts and I told him, I said, bro, this feel like 06. Like when we beat Villarreal, Real Madrid, Villarreal, went through that phase, So ultimately, I think we'll do fairly well. I feel pretty confident going against PSG. I'm not saying we have to go in there and blow them out and sell all this stuff before. We're gonna have folks going at the fools the next couple. I ain't gonna blow.
You know how our Arsenal fans
our fans. Oh yeah, man, we'll walk them or we destroy them. No, I think we'll probably
keep your feet on the ground.
Yeah. I think we'll get through, and it'll probably be something along the lines of 3-1, 3-2. Might even be penalties, but I think we can get through that tie. And hopefully we get to this championship, this Champions League, man. And I actually like our chances if we get to the Champions League final, because I think that they'll take the handbrake off because it's a one-off game. I've
done all the hard work, get it done now. Get over the line.
And I told Dan last night too. Hopefully he's looking at this because see, what's the one thing that we've done in the last 2 games against Madrid? We went forward. We went forward. How did we? How were we in the title race 2 years ago? Going forward.
He just needs to find a way to break down low blocks, man, and that will help a lot. And that's actually why I'm scared of Inter, because I feel Inter have a lot about them. Defensively, they're good. They play with 2 strikers. They have this annoying habit. Maybe it's just off the basis of the 2 games against Bayern, but whenever they need a goal, they go and get it quickly. Now, again, I don't want to nitpick, but as Matt said, small margins. We can laugh about Madrid. It's all fun and games. We kept a clean sheet at the Emirates. Madrid, it is what it is. Arteta won from a tactical point. But if we look at it without emotion in the first leg, probably should have scored some more goals, probably some sloppy passes. When we scored last night, fair enough, Saliba, he doesn't make that many mistakes. It is what it is. He's made that mistake 2 minutes after we've scored. Obviously, Saka's missed his opportunity. And there was large points. Not that we needed to, but we could have done. There was moments in that game. I think we could have held on to the ball a bit better and looked to create stuff. So that's almost the fine margins. But I think the best comment Matt's made this stream is, I think it's a learning curve. I think Arteta has learned to trust his players. I think the players have learned to trust in themselves and trust in each other. And one thing I like about that game, beyond the obvious, is people can't sit here and say, oh, it's the rubbish Madrid side. Yeah, they've got a bunch of problems. But have you seen our team? We've outdone them tactically. We outdone them psychologically, home and away. We didn't get rattled. Obviously, Partey drew himself out and got a yellow card. So it's all a learning curve, man. And I don't know about you, Matt, but that's what annoys me about Arsenal is because, and also I would say that was the first time, or these two games have been like sink or swim mode that we've got over the line. We didn't do that in the other cups. I don't know how you feel, Matt, but it's like, for as much as the league, we've got things to say, the League Cup, the FA Cup, and we ain't won the champs. It's like, it just feels like a season of what ifs and coulda, woulda, shoulda. And it's like we have this ability as a club to shoot ourselves in the foot. Like I always say, I think we're our own worst enemy. I think we can be our best friend or our worst enemy. I think the reason we didn't win this league, the one last year and the year before, is not to say other teams are not good, bro. But it's like there's a million fingers I can point internally before I say, you know what, City were great, Liverpool were great, which they were. But it's like it's like we go forward and then we go back, and there's reasons to be optimistic, and then we don't quite do it. We need to just get over the line now, man, in something and make that a habit. Surely.
Yeah, I think
Crazy.
I think the success, you can start something with success. This is why I go back to that Carabao Cup. This is why people, oh man, this is I hear people say, well, I want to win a major, and I'm like, every cup is major. every piece of silverware is major to me. I this whole thing about one is larger,
and the players, trophies are not guaranteed for players.
Yeah, exactly. I see trophies to me. I don't care what level it is. Champions League, whatever. All the trophies are on the same level for me because I want success. And so I said, because I had a couple people message me and they said, what you think if Arteta done win? And I said, I'm just going to phrase it this way. If we don't win, which I hope we do, but if we don't, I'm just going to simply ask the question, do you all think he's the man to get us over the line?
The question just gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and at some point we're going to have to try something else.
Yeah, I'm not going to go.
He's probably earned another year.
Yeah, I'm not going to be screaming from the top of the mountain. I'm at this stage. I'm going to ask, do y'all think he's the man to get us over the line based off of what you've seen?
And he's just signed a new deal, and he's coaching stuff.
This is for him. This is his on the heel moment. He's got to, for his career. He go
down in folklore, bro. If he does it,
bro, that's what I'm saying. That this is everybody throwing around unprecedented. This is truly unprecedented for this man.
For us, in Europe, we don't have the pedigree.
Yeah, so this is a once in a lifetime opportunity, man. That he has right here. Now, there's also a couple other things here that nobody's brought up, but I'll bring it up to you again. How many times have we seen PSG in the quarterfinals, semifinals, and the final? They hang around. They're constantly hanging around. So they're going to be coming into this game as well, trying to exercise. What they did against Aston Villa, exercise one of the ghosts of bottling leads. They got rid of it. So mentally, both teams are coming into this game with something to prove. Both teams have something to prove. PSG, now they're in a full-on rebuild. Now, people, Mbappe's gone. All of the superstars, all of the major superstars, Di Maria, they all out of there. They all gone. Messi's gone. All they're full on rebuild, and so they're sitting here in the semifinal. They've got something to prove. They've got an undefeated season in their league. They want to win. That'd be 2 cups. That'd be a champion, a league undefeated, and then they'll, first Champions League. Which is ultimately why they loaded this team up all these years.
Yeah, exactly. That was the goal. It's a bit like Manchester City with Pep. They wanted to win the leagues, but the champs is the big carrot, which they've obviously achieved it.
And so they're here, and they're going to be trying to do everything to win. This is why I said it's going to be a very even matchup. Very, very even. People, and I heard people saying yesterday, oh, man, Aston Villa almost came back. I said, yeah, but that's Aston Villa. I said, people, you see how much trouble Aston Villa give us? So what you? I mean, so there's no coincidence that they made it this far. Unai just made 1 or 2 errors there. That fine margins, and it cost them. Because ultimately, I think if he made 2 or 3 different things, played it 2 or 3 different ways, they might have won that game. They left what's my brother that my Jamaican brother? They left him on the bench. He didn't even see the pitch.
Bailey.
Leon Bailey did nowhere near. Then you Rashford, all your pace and speed was you left it. So you had
maybe even taking off John McGinn cost them as well.
Yeah, you had him. McGinn was out of there. So you had a lot of issues. You had a lot of issues with how Emery dealt with that, and that was fine margins. That falls under fine margins. And that's the difference in winning the game and losing the game. This is why I said last night, for me, I was thrilled that Arteta didn't go to his normal panicking and misjudging and let the guys play. You got the strongest team out there. Let the guys play.
The pennies drop for these boys now, man. Like whether we win or not, it feels like it's like they know themselves now. They know themselves as a team. They know there's certain expectations. And I honestly thought against at the Bernabeu, there might be a bit of nerves, but it's like, okay, this is what it's about. And it goes back to what you're saying. I don't know if it's a thing where you've got Zinchenko, Sterling, Jorginho, Declan Rice, even someone like Bukayo Saka, who's new to this Champions League stuff. They've got experiences individually and collectively that they can share. And obviously the manager. And one thing I like about Arteta, and that goes back to what you're saying, is clearly it's now a freedom within a framework kind of thing. Like he's telling you what you need to do. But then he's trusting you. It's like you lot are grown men, and these boys have had to grow up. One of the youngest in our squad is actually Calafiori, Wanyeri, and Lewis Kelly. And you have to sometimes stop and pinch yourself. Like Saliba, Odegaard's older, but Saliba, Odegaard, Saka, Martinelli, these men are relatively young. You look at the opposite, maybe not so much at Madrid as much, but they've got or had a Toni Kroos, a Varane, a Luka Modric, these guys that they can lean upon. So it does feel like, and you brilliantly put at the start, like it's a eureka moment kind of thing. And I just hope that obviously we get over the line. I hope that in the summer we do what needs to be done, because I'm not going to say we could be the best team in the world, but clearly we're competitive. Clearly we've got something. If we can just get over the line and make some sort of history, it's great. I want to talk to you about Partey though, man. I've asked you this before. I'm going to ask everybody here. Would you give him a new contract? Like, where are you at with Thomas this season? Because I think he's had a good year, and these 2 legs against Madrid, he's been mustard, man. Been amazing.
2 years and give him a raise.
A raise?
2 years and give him a raise. Yeah.
Some people say you're moving mad. He's on like 200 odd grand a week.
2 years and give him a raise. You telling me after what we've seen, a healthy Thomas Partey. The fact, I mean, just look at his body of work this season. One of our best players. The entire season. You start asking yourself, well, hell, what would happen last season if we had him for healthy for a whole season? I mean, it's like
Timber as well.
Yeah, Timber. I mean, you definitely have to. I knew when Timber went down last year that was going to hurt, because I followed him at Ajax, so I knew he was good. So you look at this. It's imperative that we keep Thomas Partey. And then that goes into, all right, DG, this is where we talk about, all right, if you letting him walk out the door, you damn sure better be bringing better in the door. You better be
exactly
world class. If you let him out the door, you better be somebody that you can look, that everybody can go, yeah, that's a world class defense.
Plug and play, like immediate. You're in, you like and Rice.
Yeah, you better be trying to find a Conte or somebody of that ilk, that's world class, that can go in. If you let what you already know that's good walk out the door, that's different than Odegaard. Because somebody gonna say, well, that's different, because we know for a fact we've seen other midfielders out there that's better than Odegaard. That you go out there and you put the money down, you bring them in. You look at a player like Thomas Partey. I told
unicorn of a midfielder.
Yeah, I told Curtis Shaw in the chat this the other day, and this is even as a coach, this was one of my most prized positions. A defensive midfielder is the hardest position outside of a center back to fill in the team.
Especially in this day and age where your DM or 6 is almost your first attacker of sorts at times.
You got to have your defensive midfield has to be on point, because if he's not, you're constantly putting pressure on your defense and leaking goals. This brother here literally handled Madrid last night. He's used to it, because he's played, he's been in this situation before. He
was up for it. He's Atletico, born and bred, essentially, of sorts.
Well,
not, but
so he knows. And so you can't let him walk out and do this summer. And I think that's another reason why Berta was brought in. Because Berta knows, hey man, we know who had a hand in that. So I could actually see Berta hey man, stay at least one more year. Just
Give us another year, man. Bring in your Zuba-Mendy, have your party, do what you're doing with Rice.
Give him a little, give him a year, give him a little bump up raise. Say, yeah, man, just some pocket change. Thank you money, as I call it. Thank you money. And then let's see what we do next year. Then you bring in, you bring in the understudy. And then
you phase him out like that. You can still keep him as part of it, but it's just gradually. I know it's not the same, but kind of what you've seen with City with Kevin De Bruyne in the last couple of years. I know he's been injured, but that's the only worry, Matt. Like right now, it seems like a no-brainer. Obviously, everybody knows Partey is a quality midfielder. On quality alone, if it was as white and black as that, we would. But how many times, have we seen someone play out of their skin when their contract is running out? So what if we do give him a new deal? And he's with a raise and he stinks it up next season. And it's kind of like the couple of seasons we've seen with Partey. Because how many consistent seasons have we seen from Partey? His quality's never been in question. But I'd say this year and maybe 2022, 23, there's been little flashes of being fit as well. Because he's clearly one of those. He can't get injured and then start like Declan Rice, God forbid, but or Saka. He could get injured. Back the next game, they're lit. It seems like Partey needs a bit of a run of games. But what would you say to that?
I think that there's room in this for us to go buy somebody that we can bring in and get lined up. I think this is where we start talking about robust team squad. Having enough, to compete on all fronts and everything. This is where that happens, and this is why I said this summer I think that we'll start seeing a couple of players. I'm not saying we're going to just go get world play after world class play after world class play, but you're going to start seeing some players that can come in and of the ilk, maybe a Timber or a Skelly that can, you can look
help
at
our team.
Yeah, help the team. And I think that's what we need. We need somebody. Jorginho, for me, he can go after this year. I think Jorginho, it's time. Jorginho,
I think he's going Brazil anyways. I think that's what he wants.
So that right there opens the door for them to bring in the understudy. They say, hey, look, this is going to be where you're going to go. If he decides he wants to, Arteta decides he wants to try to maneuver around, maybe keep us, I don't know what he's going to do. I can't tell you how this manager thinks. He thinks, he's on some other shit sometimes.
Mad bastard, man. But
yeah. So I don't know what he's thinking. But I would just simply say, for me, I would look to bring in somebody that's a good player that visually you can already look and tell that they're going to be good. That could be the understudy and be prepared. I just, for me, I just no way you can let him walk out that door this summer. And I know people will go, oh well, what if next year, we gave El Nene all that time. We gave
you can do it for Partey.
Yeah, you can do it for Partey. Suarez sat on that bench for got a whole check for doing nothing.
And then went Atletico Madrid when he was finished and won the title as well. Griezmann's still going, so it's not always an age thing.
Tomiyasu still sitting on the bench getting the check. Hadn't seen him but 5 minutes this whole season. Literally
5-6 minutes. I got a lot of time for Tomiyasu, but you need to be available, man.
Yep. So I'm all for bringing him back. Needs to be done. I've got a question that I'm going to start posing to folks because this is one that really it needs to really start. It's going to start picking up steam after a while. What are people going to do when Kai Havertz come back? Are you going? Because now we've seen Marino. Literally, he's played less games up front, up top than 29 did. And look at the goal return. Look at the rate of return. So what do we do with Havertz when he comes back?
He's got to earn his spot back. He's got to earn his spot back. It's as simple as that.
We know that's one of the manager's prized possessions. So does he have that within him to go, hey man, you got to earn your spot? I'm sorry, is he gonna be able to do that after paying $65 million?
He's gonna have to. He ain't got no choice.
Or do we start entertaining offers?
You could entertain offers, but like, who's gonna bid 60-odd million for him?
Hey, I didn't say wages. I didn't say pay 60. I didn't say pay 60.
Oh, you're just on taking anything.
What you telling me you turn out 50?
I'm having 50. I'm having 50. I'm 45? Having 50.
I mean, that you can surely you get 45, 50 for him. I can guarantee that he can go back to Germany. I'm sure somebody take him in Germany. What you call
Leverkusen, Munich.
Get ready to have a fire sale. They'll need some players to come in there. I'm sure they.
But he might not want to leave, Matt. He might say, you know what, F it. I am Arsenal's top goal scorer. I was the guy before Marino. I don't want to leave. I'm comfortable in London.
Hey,
The manager likes me. The fans like me. Fuck it. I'm coming to get my spot back. I want to be at a big club. So it's like,
okay.
does he want to move on? Arteta
And
would have to make it abundantly clear that, yo, you're not going to be what you was, or it's an offer from Germany, like you said, that he thinks, you know what, wouldn't mind it. But that's how I feel about Zinchenko as well, bro. It's like, it's all fun and games. I was saying, yeah, sell Zinchenko, but he's on 150 grand a week. He might think maybe the manager knows he needs a bigger squad than injuries and to trust people. I want my loyalty bonus. Arsenal might accept an offer, but he doesn't feel the wages. You said his name earlier. It's like there's a lot for Berta to do. On one hand, it doesn't feel like it's a transitional phase, but then it does, because indirectly, me and you have said wouldn't mind an upgrade on Odegaard or someone that can fight him. We both would like someone for Partey. Jorginho's leaving, so it's fair to say 2 midfielders to 3 midfielders. Martinelli, love him, but left winger is required. Striker is required. You've obviously got Marino and Havertz. Left back, maybe they act. Goalies, they have to act. There's a lot to do, you know. There's a lot of moving parts. It feels like some are leaving, some are staying. We might have to pivot if you can't get Gyökeres, Sesko. If you can't get Sesko, is that? I'm happy I'm not Arteta, Bert, or the Cronkies. It's a lot to do. It feels like we're in that period now.
Well, it's the what you see the cycle of a squad. I mean,
yeah, exactly.
And then this is also
next year be the 4th year.
Yeah, it's the 4th year, but this is also DG, what you go through this, man. I mean, it's time for us to have a real discussion about, all right, well, maybe let's see if we can bring in something a little bit better, especially if we don't get over the line. You know,
not everyone can come to the promised land.
Yeah. So we know Saka's legit. We know Declan Rice is legit. You know, I'm sure he has his days, but you know Saliba. You know, we know Magalhaes when he's healthy. Timber, Skelly. You know, you're starting to fill out a little bit.
That, it's like Ben White, cool. You're not Ben man, but you can be here.
All right. Other than that, that's good. Carabao Cup, FA Cup.
Yeah. You know, rotation and that. I'm trying to think of other names. Raya, default, cool.
Ethan, you know,
it 1 year, 100%. Yeah. Trossard, maybe you could be sold if the offer's right, depending on stuff.
I think if somebody come in for a decent piece of money for Trossard, he's out of here this year.
Naturally,
I feel like he's completely out of here.
I think him and Zinni are the ones they'll try to force out this summer. I actually think they're gonna let Partey walk as well, bro. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I know, and that one just really because we from the old school, man. You know, it took us forever to get a true defensive.
We've waited for years for Partey, man. Even the summer we got Partey.
A true defensive midfielder come in. You just don't. They don't grow on trees, man. They don't grow on trees.
It's a unicorn.
Yeah, you don't see him too often, and one that you can get without having to go through, overbid and all that. You just bought the release clause. We get Edu and them hell, but that's probably one of the best piece of businesses that they did was to pay that release clause for him and snatch him out. So we're gonna have to bring in some players this year to complement some of these other players and give us a team that can compete on all fronts.
Really compete on all fronts, man.
Yeah, I mean, because you kind of got there's a base that's there, but you got to
like
add
a core.
more pieces to it. Yeah, you got to add more pieces to it, and then before you know it, you fast track yourself to where now you're competing consistently on a year-round basis. And when I'm talking competing, I'm talking about when people having these discussions, they're saying, "Oh, Arsenal's in there, in about there. Arsenal's in on this, Arsenal's in on that." Look at over PSG. PSG got a core that even in a rebuild, they've still been able to be competitive on all fronts. They're not the See, most people that, especially youngsters, they look at PSG. They're used to seeing the Zlatans, Di Maria, Draxler,
all the shirt sellers,
Marquinhos. All of the old shirt sellers. They're all gone, but they're still competing. And they immediately moved players out really, really quick. That was like, I don't know if they're gonna work out. So they up and got rid of them.
Luis Campos said, forget that. Are you part of this DNA of what we're trying to do or not? It's not about you being a good player. We need to evolve, even from a tactical front. Like Arteta, I'm surprised by the fact that it was against Real Madrid. I'm not surprised by his nuances, because we know you can compete. We know you can do these things. It goes back to what you were saying as well. If you look at the first leg, we've seen us against the top 6. We'll compete. Statistics will show it's even. On another day, Real Madrid in the first leg, it could have ended as a draw, but the players psychologically smelt blood in the last half an hour, and we did things off the cuff. Now, ironically, 9 times out of 10, well, I don't know now because he's done it twice, but Rice probably doesn't score that free kick, but he smelt it, he saw it, he had the confidence to do it. And I think Arteta, as much as the players are learning about the gaffer's probably learning a lot about them. He needs to trust them a lot more. I just need us to learn to break down low blocks, get a bigger squad, just get over the line. And the Real Madrid game, fair enough, it's a 2-legged tie, but this season, this is the first time in cup competition, or every game's a must win in the Prem, but the ones that we've had to win, like West Ham at the Emirates, this is the first time I thought, yeah, when it was sink or swim, you man did it. Like, and that needs to become a minimum. Like, maybe I'm dreaming, but I shouldn't be this surprised with how we're playing. Real Madrid is the biggest club in the world, but I should be feeling like how Liverpool might feel, or a couple other clubs in that. We're kind of used to competing against these lot and potentially winning. That's our step, man.
Yeah, I think that once you start doing that on a consistent basis, then it becomes DNA.
Yeah, exactly.
So we
and
lost
aura and all of that.
Yeah, see, we lost a lot of that over the last few years because of all the transition and Wenger leaving, and Wenger went away from what
lost our identity as well.
Lost our identity, yeah. Especially in those 2000s, and then we tried to find our way, and not doing enough to get over the line, and we get a couple of FA Cups that pacifies everybody for a little while, then
and then it starts all over again.
Cycle restarts, and so what we've got to start doing now is building on success. This is why people say, why am I so hard on the team? Because I know this from being a coach. I know once you get that first trophy, it's just like the floodgates open. You're in, you start getting
hungry again.
You get a taste for success. When this feels good. I'm going to do this again. Right. You start looking up, and season ends in May, and everybody's back to training 3 or 4 weeks early because they want to get ready they're ready for the season. We're ready to go at it again. They start getting excited. They start getting a little pep in their step. DG players want to come to the club. They look over. You got players looking over. They say, "Damn, man,
look what they got over there. I wouldn't mind playing up front. I wouldn't mind being in centre mid. I wouldn't mind playing for Arsenal. I wouldn't mind learning from Mikel Arteta, the new kid on the block, per se. It is what it is. And likewise, what you said about a taste for success, I don't want us to have a taste for failure, which unfortunately we have. We've come up short in the Prem. Haven't done it before.
Failure can be a habit. And you
exactly.
Break bad habits. You have to break bad habits. And the only way you can break that kind of habit is by having success. And this is why when it comes to our fan base, when it comes to we finished in second, no, that's builds a habit of you. If you finish in second over and over and over and over and over, you've made it
demoralizing, man.
You've made a habit out of it. So you have to break that habit by getting over over the finish line. Once you get over the finish line, there's something different. Let me tell you, look no further than our rivals. Our colleagues there in the Premier League. Look at Liverpool, and they re-up both of their Van Dijk this morning, and then you look at
they knew Trent was going.
Yeah, and they bring Salah back in. Well, why are they doing that? Because they won a title this year,
and he's their match winner. We'll be here all day praising Salah. You need that.
It's a clear cut. We win the title this year, they're probably leaving. There probably is a high possibility they're probably leaving. They win the title this year, I think psychologically they're thinking, you know what? Yeah, we still got a pretty good team. We just have to tighten up a few areas. I think we can compete. So yeah, I'll come back. I'll come back for another year or two. That's the difference. When you're getting over the finish line, this is when you players that you need to stay. We win this Champions League. Thomas Partey might very well say, you know what, I'll do one more year. Let's defend it. Let's defend it. He may say, I'll take the home time discount in just to compete. So
Saka, Magalhaes, and Saliba probably say, you know what, give me the contracts today.
Re-up.
Immediate.
Yeah, without even with no hesitation. So this is why success is important. It's okay to finish second. It's cool. Yeah, that means you had a decent year, but it's not the ultimate goal. The ultimate goal is to have tried and true success. Something that when you hit it has a ding sign to it. It has a it has a sound to it when you win it. That's what you want to hear. That's what you want to have at the end of the season. And so, if we win this Champions League, then that's going to boost this team. The morale of this team is going to go through the moon. People will look at it. This is for this football. Our football club are the masters of marketing. This is self-promotion. This is self-promotion.
There's been no merchandise released across these 2 games against Madrid. They're fumbling the bag there.
This is self-promotion. We win this Champions League, and now you've got players that want to come, that want to be a part of something new, that want to start say, you know what, I want to put etch my name in. I want to do this. I want to do this. Let's get another Champions League. Let's start building on this. Let's back to back. Let's win
the
this
Prem.
cup.
Let's try to retain the Prem. Let's try to do a free.
Let's try to go for this. Let's try to go.
Let's try to do the impossible.
Let's try to do the treble. And so I keep telling our families, like, we have to demand a high level of success at this football club to turn it around. And it is, once it turns around, you'd be surprised. People, man, you can go see when you look at this whole thing with City had that era. United had that little era there. Liverpool had it's about time that we have, some 5, 6, 7, 8 years of sustained success.
Exactly.
Because it's easier in NFL. I'm a New England Patriots fan, and I knew what it was like when we stunk, because I was there, a Patriots fan when we stunk, and then I was there when Tom Brady was there, and we were winning Super Bowl. It's been easier for me to deal with the down period because I know what we
had your time.
Yeah, 20 years of success is like, okay, cool, because you've built that. And then you say, okay, a couple years, I'm fine with, we have to do a little rebuild. It's cool. But when you hadn't done anything, DG, when you hadn't won, when you finished second here or there, and then 10 years from now, that's all you've got to show for it, you're miserable. You're miserable. So this is why right now, this draw against PSG, this semifinal, is quite frankly the most important 2 games so far, where we at right now in this season. This is the most important 2.
And you might never be here again. I hope Arsenal players are, but some of you might not be here again. Either that's because of our club, or some of you might not be moved in. Seize the moment like you guys have been doing.
DG, you remember when that year? Do you remember that year Liverpool put us out of the Champions League? When what's my man that played for Ajax then came over there? I can't think of the striker. Ryan Babel, yeah. And which that was a whole, I still get pissed thinking about that penalty kick. That I still get pissed off thinking about how they stole that from us. Like literally stole.
You crazy game, to be fair,
Yeah, you talk about robbed, especially after walk.
That's when Liverpool Arsenal was kind of end to end in crazy games at the Emirates or at their place.
Because I felt like we had that year. I was like, yeah, we get to the final this year, bro. We might have a good shot at this thing. That was a good team, and we all thought, oh yeah, we'll be right back here. We'll be right back here next year. Nope. Then you get there again with United. Nope. Then you get to the final. Oh, well, we'll be right back. How long has it been since we've been to the Champions League final?
Bro, it's 20 plus years, and we were 13 minutes away from winning that.
Yeah, 21 years. Bro, the pain. This is why we say you just never know. Some clubs are built like Real Madrid. I asked that question last night. The Cats. I said, he said, well, how many Champions League? They got 15 champions. We can't be like Madrid. Well, how many did they have when we made it there the first time to the Champions League final?
That has to be 8. Our ambition. Like,
they had 8.
Yeah, so that has to be the aim. You have to aim. Perfection is the aim. Like, we're never gonna do that, but that has to be the aim. Like, obviously, we need to get the first one, but that has to be the aim. Obviously, I think many Arsenal fans don't expect to win trophies every damn season, but it'd be nice to pick up one, especially if we really believe like our manager's good and our players are good. That has to be the ambition. Chelsea were never the Chelsea they've been. Not that I want to praise them. Liverpool were not Liverpool, sorry, City, they were never that, but that has to be the ambition. And respectfully, Schema, I disagree with one thing in this statement in particular, where he said, now, personally, if we keep competing at the highest level, I'm going to enjoy it. You man are too entitled. Just enjoy the ride. If we're competing for the highest trophies, I'm happy. We all want to compete for the highest trophies. I agree with that. That is why we moved to the Emirates. I wouldn't say it's an entitlement. If Matt, myself, or anyone in the chat was sitting here demanding a prem, demanding this, that is entitlement. But when we've got so close, I don't think it's an unfair question to say get over the line. There's no point meeting a pretty lady, she likes you, you go on a date, you hear it off, she says come back to my crib, she's undressing, she's asking you to stick it in, and you're not getting it up. Well, that's exactly what it's been like half the time for us. So we need to get over the line. And regardless of that schema, I'm not saying you're wrong, but you think Arteta isn't sitting there and saying I want to win Prems? You think these players ain't? These lot, can you imagine how they felt at the Emirates on the last day of last season, or the year before that, or how they might feel now where they've been blown out the water, or how they might have felt going into the Real Madrid game, turning it around, and now how it is now? Well, turning our form around in the sentiment. So I don't think it's that. I don't think it's that. I don't think it's that. The gaffer is saying that, and I feel I know we've been hurt as Arsenal fans. But man, need to forget that. Like, there's no happy to be here. There's no point in going to a bar if you can't buy a drink. Keep yourself at yard, man. I hear it, schema, but I don't think it's entitlement, bro. I don't.
I just, it's just like you don't. Nobody, when you go to work, you want to be recognized for what you do.
Exactly.
I just go to work just because it feels good. No, you want to have some form of recognition. Here's why they have banquets and all that kind of good stuff to give out award, award success.
Exactly, yeah. Award shows. I went to one a few weeks ago. Exactly. It's not titles that honor men, but men that honor titles. We waffle about invincibles. Man United fans waffle about trebles. Spurs fans waffle about fuck all. But you get the point. We don't want to be like them.
You look at like you brought up Chelsea there, man, and you look at Chelsea, and what
they were a joke team.
Yeah, bro. Look, they were a great cup team. We were coming up. And
then Abramovich
ended about, and then like I said, Abramovich showed up with, hey, look, this is the objective. This is what we want to do. City, I was around when it came into the money, and City came in. The sheet cut a video, and he said, "This is the 10-point plan. We're gonna do X, Y, Z, element OP," and that's literally what they've done.
What they're doing.
PSG said, we're putting money in this. We want to be one of Europe's elite. And we want to compete, and we want to win the Champions League. And what have they done?
And they didn't stop until they did it.
For the last several years here, every time you look around, they're consistently around somewhere near the final, quarterfinal, knockout stage. They're somewhere around in the Champions League. Now they're
purring.
Yeah, they were in the final a couple years ago. So there has to be a benchmark to be met. You just don't go into.
Then what are we doing?
Yeah, how many times did you hear them say in the preseason, DG, that when it was time for season expectation, that you hear Arteta come out and say, "Man, we're gonna just enjoy the ride."
Exactly, you never heard that. And what did Josh Kroenke say when we signed Berta? Yeah, you can say it's PR, but he's like, he's gonna help us win the best trophies ever. Yeah. I'm paraphrasing, but they did have that, and everybody around this club says the same thing. Maybe it's PR because fans want to hear that, but I genuinely believe the club wants to win. They might not be doing it or have done it in the way we want, but who doesn't? Because at the end of the day, you're going to look back at your career, and sure, trophies ain't everything. You're going to think about the moments you shared with your teammates, the highs and the lows. But when these players have their grandkids, like obviously Lewis Kelly's 18. One day he's going to be in his 70s and he's got his grandkids. I want him to show these kids his Champions League medal, his Prem medal, and all of these kind of things. You look at half of our legends, they won shit.
Hey, if you don't believe me that want to be able to show what you just said is 100% true, go back to last week when TT had his kids with him at the state walking around.
All right.
If you don't think that you can see the emotion to be able to walk around and say, "I did this. This is daddy right here. This is what we did." This is what every player wants to see. I've got probably 20 championships and title medals sitting in my living room right now from when I was coaching. And I still, to this day, my players, I get random calls from my old players, and they'll say, "Coach, you remember that game when we did such and such, and we did da, and it was overtime, and we didn't think we were gonna win, and we went to PKs, and we had to come back, we had to fight. We started out this way, but we ended this way." Bro, that's success. People want to be able to talk about tales of success. You never hear losers talking about, "Man, you remember the time when we competed, man, we got in the third place. You remember that year we finished third?" Man, I've never had that.
Believer says I want to win stuff.
Yeah, I've never had that conversation about just being in and around and competing. No, we have to win, and more people need to be saying that as these weeks build up for the PSG semifinal. People need to be saying we need to win this. Let's have a go at it. Let's enjoy the right. No, we need to win. This is it. This is it. It has to have a siege mentality. It has to be a mentality.
Siege mentality.
This is it. You got to sell out. You got to completely sell out. Because if you don't sell out now, this is why I told you this a couple while back. I said there's certain times when players, that's why I tell my older guard, you have to start looking. Some of these players are going to reveal themselves to you. Some of these players that are not built for this, DG, will reveal themselves to you. You'll say, there it is. There it is.
Positively and negatively.
Yeah,
Lewis Kelly showed his honesty.
Yeah, exactly. Both ways. It goes both ways. You got certain players that's going to go, yep, that's the man. We know we can depend on him. And then you got another one that, I got to put a star by his name. Like when you was in when you was elementary school, they put the red star. You put that red star by that name. So you keep an eye on him and watch him. He's on red. Right. And so you have to start doing that. These are the moments. These are the fight. This is it right here. What we're looking at right now. And
to prove it to themselves, man. It's one thing. If I was an Arsenal player, Matt, there'll be two things I'd be thinking about. One, I'd want to put a big, massive fuck you on everybody who's talk crap about my club that I work for and my teammates. Two, I'd want to prove it to myself because I might be going through self-doubt. They're human. They might think, oh man, we keep getting close, but we're so far. That's the devil talking. Go and defeat that. And also, if these lot fight for Arteta, because we can have our comments on these players. I've never seen them down tools, so they're clearly with him. I want to, that's how I used to look at Sunday League. What do you mean? Like, my manager, I want to die for you on this football pitch. So I want you to get recognition. So let's get over the line. What Matt is saying is not what I'm telling you. In fact, Matt's probably even being nice. They're inside at Arsenal, they are probably saying something very different. Very different. These men want to win, bro. And it's all fun and games.
I'm going to tell you like this, because we didn't get a chance to talk after the Madrid game. I'm gonna tell you like this: there's no coincidence that Declan Rice called Odegaard by name. That's no coincidence, y'all. I know a lot of people it flies right past everybody. That was done on purpose. Hey, bro, Odegaard said, "Do this." Why did he say that? Because he's too nice. In clutch situations, you're too soft. You have to have fuck it. I'm going for it. We're going for it tonight, ladies and gentlemen, because I said the same thing in my head. I said, well, if I was soccer standing next to him, I said, well, let's send this home. It's time to go home. I've done that.
If you're scared, go to church, man.
Yeah, you playing with a dude. You playing with a guy who you know is a specialist, and you're in a situation to win the game. Hey, man, shut this down so we can go home, please.
Yeah, man.
All right,
Cheer up your teammate, because how do we know Rice? Obviously, I think Rice saw it and he fancied it and whatever. But what if he fancied it? He's like, yeah, I'm gonna take this. But he was kind of unsure, and Saka was like, fuck it, do it. What if Saka or someone else talked Declan Rice out of that? We don't see at least one of the free kicks. These players now need to coach themselves. I always say, you look at Alex Ferguson, you look at Wenger, you could probably even look at Arne Slot and anyone else that's won a title. Of course, the manager is telling them what to do and all of that. But you've been a coach. Yeah. How many times has the team, you might have just got your tactics wrong, the team have got you out of it, like, fuck it, the coach is chatting shit, or the coach has got it wrong, we're going to do this, get them out of it, and that's how it goes. Sometimes it's a bit different, but the players might be shit, and the manager might wait 1-2 changes, you nick it and go home. Yeah. This is what we need to do, because really and truly, we're a good side. In the Premier League, maybe not so much this year, because we've got 12 draws, and 3 defeats, so there's about 15 games we could have looked for. But 9 times out of 10, it's probably, or at least the 2 previous years, it's probably been 3 to 5 games that have told the narrative or have summed up the narrative come May, rather than what we've seen. It's like what Matt said at the beginning, the margins.
That's exactly what happened the year we balled the title. It was only 1 or 2 games. That situational football that cost us that title 2 years ago. Completely situational.
Even last year.
Yeah. Last year when you go to West Ham, Aston Villa. You get to that.
Aston Villa times 2.
Yeah, and so this is why I said you got to have a season mentality. You look at soccer this year. Early this year, soccer said, "I want to go forward," but the manager, he doesn't want me to do that. That was done on purpose. Soccer subliminally
mind game.
I want to go forward. My job is to go forward. I'm not trying to do all this defense. I need to be going forward.
I'll pay my dues, but I need to be in the opposition half.
Yeah, I'm going forward. You Declan Rice. What's your favorite position? I prefer to play here. That was point blank. That's one thing I like about Declan Rice. He point blank period. This I want to do this, but I'm doing that. Well, guess what? When I do this, this is what you get. This is what you get right here. It's showcase for everybody to see. This is what we need. We need more of this in the team. We need more of this in the team.
It needs to become the minimum, man.
Yeah. And I think the brother. I'm looking at the comment. The brother Meltdown is saying Odegaard is coming from a major injury. Let's put the last 3 years and let's take away the 15 goal year. That was aberration. He's only done that once in his entire career. And then let's look at his whole body of work at Arsenal. Let's look at all the assists. It'll shock you when you go look at his stats and the whole body of work. Go to Arsenal.com. At least showed everybody. I've seen it already. I knew it. That is the whole body of work. This is why I said people will pick one game here. They'll pick, they'll go back 2 years. 15 goals, that's 2 years ago. That was 2
need it now.
years ago.
As much as I like Odegaard, we need it now. And if you're not going to get goals and it's his influence, I maybe you've got family issues, maybe you've got injuries, maybe you're just in a run of form. That happens, but you need to get yourself out of it. It's as simple as that.
You look, and it's like we're at a stage now. This is year 6. Going into year 6. I'm seeing growth of players like Skelly in less time. And
the way they handle themselves tells me, respectfully to Odegaard, because you've obviously had adversity, but what I've seen from Lewis Skelly and all of them, when they go through them periods where they're playing shit, they're making mistakes, I know they're not going to feed into the negative hype. They're not going to believe they're bad players because they're in bad form. Likewise, I don't think, Lewis Skelly's got every reason to be complacent right now. Bossing Real Madrid, England cap, doing the thing with Haaland, first name on the team sheet, getting to half place centre mid as well as left back. But you can tell he's not buying into his own hype. You can tell he's got the mentality of, I ain't proven nothing. I'm here to stay. I need to prove myself every week. And that's what we need from man 1 to man 20 or whatever our squad is.
The manager said that he told Skelly his route into the team was left back. He said, okay, well, I'll just do the best I can to be the best left back that I can be.
Like when Saka had to do it.
It does the best that he can do. Odegaard's getting paid major bucks.
Captain.
He's the captain. You have to hold the captain. That is the captain. The captain has to be held to a higher standard than the average player on the team. He has. So
you're telling me your voice holds the most weight behind the scenes.
He is the de facto leader on the pitch. Outside of the manager, he's the leader. So
probably leading the team talks as well.
People keep saying he's coming off injury. It's April. That injury was when? Saka's played 2 games off of surgery. 3 games off of surgery. Major surgery. Major surgery. And played 90 minutes yesterday. Almost 90 minutes yesterday. So at some point we've got this whole narrative about Odegaard has to be addressed. I hear him. He's saying, man scored 15 for me. That's 2 years ago.
And simply put, Matt, Odegaard's got the ability. You just need to get back to that. Whether it's for me, I've always said, I think him scoring them goals was a false image purely because, fair enough, he's in and around it. But I just think he's more of a not Santi Cazorla, but you're more of a, you're the pass before the pass, like yesterday. But you're not really doing that. You're not getting goals. You are pressing and doing the job. It's like somebody that's just doing the minimum at their job with the greatest of respect to Odegaard. If I didn't think Odegaard had more from him, I wouldn't ask any more of him. Really and truly. It's as simple as that. You have to live or die by the high standards. You can't gas up, man, when things are going well. And I'm not saying scapegoat, but you also have to keep the same energy with reason. And Odegaard's not doing it. I think yesterday in the second half, he was better. But then again, the bar is on the floor for someone like Odegaard. I don't think his form's going to turn around this season. I hope it is. I think this is one where you just have to charge it to the game. It is what it is. End the year and we see where we're going. But I don't think these are wrong things. And even that, he does play it safe. It probably comes back to confidence. But either way, he's got to get himself out of that.
DG, I'm looking at, I'm just going to give you just for a couple of stats here. 24-25 this year. Champions League. 3 goals, 1 assist. All right. 2023 Champions League. 2 goals, 1 assist. That's all the games that we played. All the games we played. 9 matches. 9 matches. Then you go to the Premier League. 24 games this year. 2 goals, 4 assists. You know. Then you go to 23. Then you go 8 goals, 10 assists. Then you go 22, 15 and 7. 21, 7 and 4. 14, 1 and 2. Cup competitions. This year, 0 goals, 2 assists.
There's more to come from the lad, man.
Yeah, he's going to have to. This is hit. If next season is we talk about make or break seasons for players. We talk about make or break seasons. Next year's a make or break season for Martin Odegaard.
It is for Odegaard. Because when you look at it without emotion, like if you're not elevating, you're either stagnating or regressing. And I hate to be that fan talking about money and all that thing, but you're on big money.
Yeah,
big money.
You know what? See,
at some point it's
See, when you come in with big money, that's what I'm saying. When you get paid a king's ransom, it's expectations. When you're the captain of a football club,
poster boy of sorts with Odegaard.
You expectations. Expectations. He's got to learn that he's going to have to play 100% on every game. He's going to have to be the man. You got it on your arm. You're walking around. You cheered up the crowd. You got to be the man.
Exactly.
He need to.
And football's fickle. You do that, people get off your back. Simple as that. People were saying Rice isn't that good this year and blah 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 blah. Look at him. People wanted to sell part in the summer. Look at him now. At the end of the day, football's a fickle business, very fickle. But he's got it in him. He needs to get back to it.
Yeah, it's like there's just certain things that you see, and it's just like, nah, man. I'm sure there's gonna be some discussions this summer about form, and there's gonna be some people, like I told you, people are gonna be looked at. Now, I think there's gonna be 1 or 2, like we said, we named a couple of them that are gonna be moved on this summer. But I wouldn't be surprised if there was an offer entertained. I would not be surprised if there was a offer to be entertained. But brother, I know we got to wrap it up. I just want to say, man, I'm thrilled with the performance last night. I pray that we can carry that performance on into the PSG game. I just feel like if we can get past that, I think it
feels like something in the air.
I have a really good feeling in my gut if we can get to that semifinal, get past the semifinal to the final. And I'm just thrilled that we've progressed this far in this tournament, and we just need to make sure that we're clear about where we are in this league. We don't want to,
go in the champs as far as we can go. Yeah. Don't fall off in the league. I know the Prem's gone, but don't drag yourself below second in it. Solidify second. Not that I'm saying that's anything to be praised on. You're just salvaging what you can salvage in it, essentially.
Yeah. The last thing we need is to be sitting up there dropping points against Ipswich or lost this weekend. That was just pretty much so.
We don't need that. We don't need that.
Yeah.
Oh man, Matt, we got to get these going more often, man. But yeah, let people know they can find you. I can't imagine they don't, because all they got to do is check out the title, subscribe to the platform. This guy is on his own channel. He's here. He's always welcome. He's with Lee and DJ B and the rest of it. He's part of the Arsenal family, folks.
Southern Gooner here on YouTube. Make sure you check me out. I'm over there with Lee. I'll be over there with him on match day this weekend on Sunday with against the Ipswich Town. And I won't be on the Real Talk Monday because I got a loaded week next week. But I'll probably get back to streaming soon. My schedule, and my schedule is all
your schedule's mad, people.
Yeah, so but I thoroughly enjoy it, man. Great conversations. I can't believe an hour and a half flew by.
Flows by, man. I got all the time in the world for you, man. It's nice to speak with someone that, one, knows football, two, can speak objectively, and three, just you always provide different perspectives and spins on things that I might have missed. So it's always nice, man. It's always an enriching convo with you, my boy.
Hey, man. Enjoy it, brother. Chat. Much love to everybody, man. Shout out to Rashid. I saw you in there, brother.
Come on, big him up.
Yep. And make sure y'all are subscribing, and who has not subscribed to DG, make sure you do that, man. Hit him up. Show the brother some love. Come on, my guy, man. And on that, people, like, comment, subscribe. Peace. We're gone. Like